Okay, so what we're looking at here is we're looking at the structure of the heart, and this is chapter 1b, lesson 5. So on the top of the page you can see that we've got all of the labels that we need to get through. Now, these labels are A-level standard labels, so if you can't get all of them, don't be too concerned. And we're going to try and make our way through to notating them as much as we can. So when we first start looking at the heart, you can see that we have 4 quite clear chambers here. 2 on the top. And if I use blue, we have also got 2 on the bottom. Okay, now when we're talking about the heart, we're talking about in relation to looking at somebody else's heart. So the right is the left and the left is the right. So this one here, our top ones are called atrium. And the bottom one are called ventricles. But as we know, the right is the left, so this is left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. So you can cross them out. So we then have all of these pipes that go in and out of the heart, transporting blood. Now, the easiest way to remember it is that if it is a vein, it is bringing blood into the heart. And an artery is away from heart. And this will be able to help us as we're going along. Now, all of the blood first flows into the atriums, then it goes into the ventricles, and then it leaves. Okay, so we have this pattern all the way around the heart. So let's have let's have a look first of all. So what we have is we have the let's go with the aorta. Okay, so because it's beginning with A, it's going to be taking it away from the heart. If it's coming away from the heart, it needs to be connected to a ventricle. And that would be happening here. So this one here is the aorta. It's going away, so it is an artery. Okay? So we'll scrub that one out. And another one that we have, beginning with A, is we have a pulmonary artery. Okay? Now, when we have the word pulmonary, it means it is either going to or from the lungs. So if it is a pulmonary artery, it's leaving the heart, going to the lungs. If it's a pulmonary vein, it's leaving the lungs and it's coming to the heart. So if the left ventricle is taking blood away from the aorta, I need to have another, and that's an artery, I need to have another artery here for the left ventricle, and that would be the pulmonary artery, this one here. You can see by the extension task at the bottom of the sheet, if you can say where things are going to, you're going to be able to strengthen your understanding. So arteries are always linked to the ventricles because they are leaving the heart. That means my veins are going to be connected to my atrium. So I can get rid of this pulmonary artery. So then I'm left with so far I've got my pulmonary vein and I've got my vena cava. Okay, so let's have a look first at pulmonary vein. If I've got pulmonary dealing with my right, I can't also then have another pulmonary dealing with my right. So the second pulmonary needs to be dealing with my left. So these ones here are the branches of the pulmonary vein. And if it's pulmonary, it's coming in from the lungs. So you have to ask yourself, if it's come from the lungs, what type of blood will it have? Will it be oxygenated or deoxygenated? And then that leaves me with the vena cava. Now the vena cava is split into 2. We have superior and inferior. For those who remember, superior is going to be upper body. So this is dealing with body parts above the heart. And then the bottom one is going to be inferior. So both of these are vena cava, vena cava, and then the inferior vena cava. Great. So just to go back over, we've got our 4 sections of the heart: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle, and we've also got the 4 pumps: aorta, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, and vena cava. And you will need to be able to write this in a full paragraph, the flow of blood through the heart. Let's have a look at some of these other words we have here. We've also got this one's gone, and we've also got rid of this one. Now the septum. This is a really easy one. This here is a septum. It is the divide between the left and the right of the heart. And then we have these valves. So we have the bicuspid valve and the tricuspid valve. And their job is very important. Their job is to make sure the blood is travelling in the same direction all of the time. Now the easiest way to remember this is that tricuspid has got an O in it, so therefore it's on the right hand side. It has 3 layers, that's why it's called tricuspid. And then on the left we have bicuspid. Great. And finally we have the aortic valve. So the aortic valve is going to be the one connected to the artery, and it is this one just here. And that again is going to stop blood going in the wrong direction, and that is the aortic valve. So this is a level of labelling that we're doing. So as you can see, the extension, things you can add in is if it's deoxygenated blood or oxygenated blood, if it's come from the lungs or it's going to the lungs, and where all of these veins and arteries are taking it to. So if I have blood that's come in from the lungs and it's oxygenated blood, where do I think it would be going to? If I've got blood that's come in from it's going to the lungs, is that oxygenated or deoxygenated blood? So that is labelling of the heart. And to extend it further, you'd want to be able to annotate and explain where the blood has come from and where the blood is going to and what type of blood that would include.